Hey guys, hope that you're doing well. My name is Alina, I'm a sleep coach, and you're watching my Sleep Talks channel. Today is going to be very interesting because I'm going to break down napping. Should I nap or should I avoid napping is something that I hear all the time from my clients, and I know that many people here expect a certain answer, like that some sort of like a guideline. This is the right way, but knowing how insomnia really works, it is not about the action as such, but about the understanding of the whole problem. So this is where I'm going to discuss in this episode, so that you will have a better idea of or better foundation for making your decision, so that it leads you to better sleep and less struggle. Before I begin, I want to say special thanks to my supporters on Patreon, and I want to say that if you also ever consider supporting Sleep Talks, my YouTube channel or my Instagram page, you can do so. I will provide a link in the description to my Patreon page, so you can make a donation if you feel like it. And the second thing is about my Sleep Talks letters. It is a free newsletter where I put the extracts from my coaching notes. This is something that, it's kind of like a kitchen of what I actually do behind all the other things that I do kind of on public. So it is very deep. It is a very deep dive into the nuances of insomnia recovery. So I really encourage you to sign up for it to see if it brings you some value. It is completely free, and the content there is not duplicating my YouTube or Instagram, so you're going to see something really new there. So also you'll find the link in the description. That said, let's get to the napping question. So let's first discuss two situations that many people find themselves in. So the first situation is that you begin struggling with your sleep at night. You find yourself extra worried, extra hypervigilant. You're toss and turn whole night, unable to fall asleep, frustrated, angry, annoyed, and so on. And then the next day, either you slept sometime, like very little, or you didn't sleep at all. But either way, you feel like you didn't get enough of sleep. And knowing that you didn't get enough sleep, logically, you decide that you want to catch up with the sleep. So you take any opportunity to sleep so that you get enough of that required amount of sleep. One of the options is to nap, right? So this is when many people begin forcing themselves to nap, or just taking some time and then going on the couch and trying hard to fall asleep. And oftentimes they find themselves that they cannot sleep. So then they begin to be even more scared because they couldn't sleep at night, they couldn't sleep during the day, and they naturally feel somehow, like they're lost this ability to sleep, which of course none of you have, you cannot lose this ability, but it might feel like this. The second scenario, the second situation is that, let's say after some time you stumbled upon the CBTI practice. Is this cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, which basically talks about the sleep drive, focuses heavily on building the sleep drive so that you have enough of it to fall asleep. And sleep restriction is one of these kind of like major approaches in the CBTI, where you avoid any sleep outside of your sleep restriction window. And this includes also getting rid of napping. So that means that you cannot have a nap during the day according to the CBTI. So you decide to follow CBTI, and you find yourself that you're scared, you're frightened, you're exhausted, and at the same time you realize that you cannot take a nap. So suddenly nap becomes some sort of like a threat to your sleep. You feel like by napping during the day, you will actually lose some part of the sleep drive, which will make you less likely to sleep at night. And as you can see, those are two different approaches or two different like scenarios, and both of them, they bring a lot of struggles. And so basically, whether you nap or not, you decide to avoid napping, either way, you just don't feel good. So then you start kind of questioning, what should I do? What is the right path? And I'm a big believer of the fact that you can actually recover from insomnia without extreme measures. You don't need to stick to any rigid rules. You can actually do the recovery process very gently without unnecessary pressure on yourself. And to a little bit expand on that is that it is not about the actions as such. It is not about napping or avoiding napping. It doesn't really matter what you do because sleep is something that no one can control. No one can fall asleep on command. No one can fall asleep at will. Nothing external can produce sleep. So that means that if you decide to nap, that doesn't change the fact how sleep works. Or if you decide to avoid napping, it also doesn't guarantee that you will sleep because it's not going to impact the nature of sleep. So this kind of leaves us with the conclusion that our actions don't matter. And it is true because the intention behind these actions is what actually can be the source of a struggle or can be a solution like that brings more relief. So there are generally two intentions that you can be making any decisions, including napping. Decisions coming from a place of fear of losing sleep and decisions coming from a place of self-care, pleasure, common sense. And whatever intention behind you choose, that is going to determine whether you are going to move towards the recovery or towards like down the rabbit hole. So if you decide to nap out of fear of losing sleep or out because you chase this required number of hours of sleep, this is what will lead to more struggle. The same if you avoid napping because you fear that you will lose sleep drive so that you can sleep at night, this will also lead to trouble sleeping and more anxiety, because both of those decisions, napping and avoid napping, comes from the place of fear. But when you decide to nap because it simply feels good, because it is something that makes sense to you, regardless of how it will impact your night, regardless of how it will, increase or decrease your chances of sleeping, but you just decide to do it because it just feels good right in this moment, this is the decision that is going to lead you to less pressure, more freedom, and more peace. So try to observe your decisions from this kind of like lens, where this decision comes from what place, from place of fear or place of self-care. And next time, just ask yourself, why am I doing this? And, I know that this is something that can create this very tricky question, which isn't tricky at all, is that, okay, what if I find myself extremely scared? So that means that any decision that I do is basically dictated by this fear, but at the same time, I'm super exhausted. So you have the intention here is clearly you want to sleep because you're scared, yeah? And you're also exhausted. So what to do in this kind of situation? And my answer here is to switch the narrative. Because our actions don't matter and our intentions are, we can change the story that we'll tell ourselves about napping. So instead of explaining that what you're about to do is that it comes from the place of fear, you explain it to yourself that you're going to do it because of self-care, and that's it. You're not going to kind of ponder further, is it good or is it bad decision? You simply explain it away like this, that yes, I'm going to take a nap. It will feel good right in the moment. It doesn't matter how it will affect my night because I still cannot control sleep. But whatever I do right in this moment is, if it makes me feel good, then that's what I'm going to do. So you see how you can actually, even from seemingly effortful action, like napping, like where you're not sure where this decision comes from, you can easily switch it to this place of self-care, and then this decision stops having any impact on your recovery journey, in terms of it's not going to make things worse, not going to make things more tricky. It's going to bring you more relief. I hope that this made sense and resonated with you. And of course, write me comments if you have any questions, or if you just want to share some insights about napping, and if this approach is something that you also applied on yourself already. I will be really glad to read that. And thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye.